You see yourself in the mirror. It's quite a sight. Now is not the time for a bath. A stone door lies flush with the floorboards. Etched whorls in the granite frame a delicate rotary dial. Gleaming under the dim light, the metallic dial almost seems to wink at you. No amount of sheer force the dial turns freely under your fingers. You give it a couple of spins, yet nothing happens. If this is a battle of wits, it looks like the stubborn lock's winning. The dial turns freely under your fingers. The dial turns free. The dial turns. The dial turns. The dial turns. The dial turns.
We should find the Meister. Malady seemed to think she could help.
Wanna play? She's outside the gates. I can't go outside the gates. It's very dangerous. Hey, when the wind blows from over the stream, I can hear the Meister. I can hear her cry.
She gives you a look of the darkest meaning. Then she takes a deep breath, puts on a happy smile, turns...
They don't come visit your tongue. Who will?
Don't send me away. I'm not a dirty lizard.
Get her, Dallas. Get that sorcerer.
West, Blood Moon Island. South, Driftwood. East, the Meadows. Did you expect a needle?
Maybe the river could be crossed on that. I see a cage, and there's something in it.
He has 10,000 names, all true and...
Please, please, could you help me?
I'm Alexander. You're the sorcerer, Mary Lane.
Aw, I'm always the sorcerer.
Watch it. Those are source hounds.
Halt! The hounds smell sauce on you. Plenty of it, by the sound of them. Haven't got a collar for you. Damn it. I'm sorry, but I can't let you leave. Hounds, at the ready. Fine, fine. Do all the gallivanting you want. But if a hand goes snapping at your heels, I'm looking the other way.
In the near distance, you see a man, though shadows obscure his features. A faint, guttural chittering emanates from a cage before him.
This is him. He can help me. He can...
Losa's eyes suddenly fill with inky blackness. Grey veins appear beneath her skin.
Walk away.
She shakes her head. Her color returns to normal.
I'm running out of time. I think that man is Jehan, the demonologist. I need to talk to him.
She throws up a salute and laughs low, but worry sparkles behind her eyes. She walks towards the mysterious figure, who turns towards her with narrowed eyes.
Keep your distance. I recognize that particular shade of darkness in your eyes. Why do you seek me?
You're Jehan, the demonologist. I heard you could help me. Please, I must be free of it.
Jahan stands back from her, his body tense. He stares into her eyes a long while, saying nothing.
I've heard about you, Losa. You're the amalgam too hideous to contemplate. One who has a demon coiled around her god-woken heart. Its grip grows stronger by the hour. Its voice and yours become ever more indistinguishable until, ultimately, it's your voice no longer. But not just yet.
He walks toward her. They talk in low tones. Jahan's face is vivid, insistent. Losa's is set in a determined frown.
Do as I say, Losa. Hurry now. It won't be long.
They shake hands, Jahan clasping Losa's hand in both of his.
You'll see. I'll be back before you know it. The Advocate doesn't stand a chance.
Losa turns to you.
So, we have a job. It's like this. Jehan can help us. He can teach us how to control more Source. Just like that. All we need to do is a little favor for him. There's a place to the north called Blood Moon Island. I guess it's been more or less lost to a demonic presence for some time now. There's a fellow there, goes by the Advocate, and our new pal Jehan would like to see him taken care of. We take care of that, and Jehan helps us control more Source. And after that, he may even be able to help exorcise what ails me. Sound good? Of course it does.
She turns away before you have time to answer.
Excuse me. You travel with Losa, do you not? We need to have a word, you and I. I suppose I don't have to tell you her condition is... rather dire. You're no stranger then to her demon-wrought idiosyncrasies. The thing inside her is voracious. It's a testament to her strength that it hasn't long since consumed her whole. Perhaps that's because she's God-woken, just like you are. Do heed me when I say that under no circumstance must she be allowed to ascend to divinity. The demon, not she, would be a god. It would bring about the end of time and space and all creation as we know it. I say this to prepare you for the worst. I say this to prepare you for the kill may come to pass. You must be ready to be the death of Losa. Should she come close to ascension, you may not hesitate. Stand ready to end her, even if it breaks your heart. Then practice the moment in your mind, for hesitation will mean annihilation. There may be more I can do for you. Come find me if you are interested in growing the Source inside you. You may find that new strength will soon become essential. How fares the hunt, my friend? Death fog obscures any approach and hangs thick over the collapsed bridge that led to the Isle from the Driftwood Road. There is more than the mist alone there, though. Magic that evades my eyes. I also spotted a sloop further down the shoreline. But of course, a quiet afternoon's boating trip will be quite ruined once one hits death fog-shrouded waters. That is to say, no living thing would survive such a trip. It is a place of irony, if you will. Once the site of an academy dedicated to the art of demon hunting, now the remnant of a dream sliced open into nightmare. Rumor has it an exorcism went wrong there long ago, and for a short time a great demon stood unopposed. Had it not been for Dr. Deva, the entirety of Reaper's Coast could have looked like Blood Moon Island looks today. He contained the demon and its blood spawn to the doomed shores of the Isle, surrounded it with death fog, and never looked back. I met him once, during a soiree in Arx. Quite the eccentric is Dr. Deva. But then again...
He looks you up and down.
Aren't we all?
He smiles, like one would at a child, asking about the birds and the bees.
I know because I've known others like you. Those whose fates are chained, for better or for worse, to that of the gods themselves. I have battled the foe of foes, and conquered it. For a while. I have sat in perfumed gardens with the source herself, drank life from her very lips. I have seen well over 2,000 springs, and will continue to do so until time itself closes its weary eyes. Trust me, I know what you are, and what you can be. May you wander in wisdom.
Come here. The sun is warm.
Dear child, you sacrifice too much. You need peace, rest. Come here and stay with me a while.
A great pounding suddenly erupts in your barren chest cavity, rattling your bones. Your inner god roars and bellows, an incoherent, maddening cacophony.
It is awful how she treats you. She asks so much and gives so little in return. I am the only one who cares. She will say otherwise. She always does. And in the end, she'll betray you. Don't play her game. Think of yourself. Rest here. The sun is golden. No one will bother you. This moment can last forever, if you let it.
A sudden weariness washes over, bone deep and as irresistible as a strong current.
Shh, don't fight it. This is how it's supposed to be. Sleep now. When you wake, it will be in a new world, a beautiful world. I only wanted to give you rest, not pain. Now, I leave you to my children. They are many. They are impatient. They lack my gentle touch. I am sorry, truly.
Not in any mood to talk about it.
Keeping it together, Bree? I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it.
Bishop Alexander was slain by Seekers. Culprits still at large.
Push it, Hound.
Pipe down. I'm tired of your whining.
Creeping little flies. Go back! Get out of my realm!
The other world's cruel. Interesting.
Vapid fiction along the low front of
Hear ye! Hear ye! Bishop Alexander was slain by Seegers! Culprit still at large!
Keeping it together, Bree. I'm all right, as long as I don't think about it too much. You're safe among friends. Never forget it. Smells worse over here than a dozen rotten eggs dropped in a vat of vinegar.
Then don't come over. Not like you're buying anything.
If I don't come visit your ton, who will?
Wouldn't you like to know?
You poor dwarf. Do you even know what they've done to you?
The lizard hangs from the gibbet, her face blooded and her scales discolored. Her eyes are closed, but her tongue flickers as you approach.
Welcome to Driftwood, Godwoken.
One bloody eye cracks open, glittering gold appearing from beneath the swollen lid.
Chased you all the way here from Fort Joy, did they? Very well then, cut me down. There is work to be done. Or, indeed, you could stand there gawping as if I just ran off with your femur. You might not have the brains anymore, but I pray you've managed to keep some wits.
The Meister bares her teeth, stained a deep pink by her blood, and growls.
Melody is unfortunately mistaken. I cannot train you, but I can certainly help you on your path, as long as I am free of this rope. Be
Because along with torture and interrogation, the Magisters found space in their schedules to purge me, that's why. They spent quite some time at it, too. Apparently I was a rich vein to be mined. And now I hang powerless as any butchered carcass. No offense meant towards your own venerable carcass, of course. They stopped the process just as the last of my power drained away. Just enough to rob me of my strength, but not enough to leave me a hollow sack of flesh and scales. I had hoped they simply wished to preserve my charm and beauty, but no. It seemed Dallas had ordered that I be held until she could do the deed herself. To give it the personal touch, I imagine. Now that you have had that that delightful little nugget of gossip, perhaps you could do your damn job and let me loose?
The lizard grimaces, shifting awkwardly as she dangles.
I am in intense pain. You are either insufferably cruel or insufferably stupid. Insufferably cruel. How charming. It was obvious, Godwoken. Your bones are bleached by the sun, but not about your neck. You wore a collar, and thus you were in Fort Joy. But no undead creature lasts long enough in Fort Joy to be collared, therefore you must have a mask to conceal your identity. Only an important person would carry such a prestigious item, and no one important gets free from Fort Joy without help. The Seekers thought you were worth saving, thus you are Godwoken. Now, an important person does not come to Driftwood unless they seek someone even more important than themselves, so I further surmise you are here for me and will help me down. Now!
A slow, pained grin spreads across the lizard's face. Her tongue flickers.
Not quite as stupid as I imagined. I am still head of the Seekers, boy. I can taste your sauce. It wafts about you like honeysuckle on the breeze. Now, if you would be so kind, my bonds. Be quick about it, before the Magister realizes their prize catch is about to slip through the net. Excellent. Now, if you'd be so kind as to gut that startled-looking Magister, it would be much appreciated. I must secure my home before they do any more damage.
Kind that don't fancy starving along with the rest of this town. It's all well and good for you with your ration.
The Meister sits slumped in a chair, looking around the room as she works her shoulder with one hand. It looks like it was dislocated by the gallows.
Damnable red cloak baboons ransacking my wardrobes, as if I would keep ancient valuable secrets in a pile with my unmentionables.
She takes a deep breath, and with a twist, a click, and a screech of pain, she shoves her shoulder back into its socket.
I swear by the seven, if we did not have more important matters to attend to.
Reaching across the table, she pulls a bowl of hot water towards her and fishes some bandages, a needle and thread out of a box. She slowly starts to tend to her wounds.
At least the barbarians were unable to club their way into my vault, so everything you need should be safe.
The Meister turns to you, her eyes wide with worry.
Oh, pardon. I'm so sorry. How could I have forgotten? Thank you so much. Thank you for rescuing me after they had already strung me up. After they had tortured me for days. After they...
She stops mid-shout, descending into a fit of coughing, wheezing and groaning. She glowers at you as she slowly regains her composure.
We are quite finished with politeness. There is so much to do. Enthusiasm? On a weekday? My word. We shall begin once we have the tools we need from my vault. You may have been chosen, Godwoken, but becoming divine requires more than a supernatural pat on the head. Come, Godwoken. It is time to see just how awake you are. Perhaps you have noticed the safe in the floor. You will find it just beside the wall bed. Kindly enter the combination as I call it out. I believe you are capable of that.
The stone door remains just as it was when you last saw it, rigid and unmovable. You take your time trying to open the lock, but to no avail. Taking your time, you carefully enter the combination. The metallic sounds of the tumblers falling within the mechanism let you know you entered the code correctly.
Excellent. Follow me. Your time is at hand, Godwoken.
Ancient runes? Weird contraptions? This place is an arcanist's dream.
Meister is examining her wounds, prodding at this, wincing at that. Her face seems grim as she turns to you.
Do you know what it means to have the power of the divine, Godwoken? You would let the void run free so you can feel the joy of your skin sagging as you age. You would trade the sanctity of all the races for your flesh. No, becoming the divine means taking on the power of all the gods and the responsibility for all the races. The divine was created by the gods to shelter us from the void. The divine cannot use his power for anything else. Very well, then. Let's see if we can't snatch divinity from the jaws of the void. The ritual itself is quite simple. Drop some blackroot in the bowl, mix in a little blood, set the concoction aflame, and then, well, not inhale the smoke, but whatever the skeletal equivalent is. Ignore any feelings of dizziness, itchy bones, or a dire sense of existential dread. They are all perfectly normal, although you will need to sacrifice a little sauce along the way. Everything you need is here. Ingredients in the cupboard. Sauce in the glowing fountain. Ritual in the tome by the bookcase. Even an incinerator to provide a flame.
The Meister looks back at her wounds, curiously prodding them as fresh blood oozes out, staining her claws.
Quite. Mind you, being torn asunder by a Voidwoken would be even more inconvenient. So if you wouldn't mind...
The Meister points sharply to the ingredients cupboard.
And do not lose anything. These ingredients are rare indeed. I'm not hiking back out to the cloisterwood to fetch you more blackroot.
Opening the door, you see a selection of ingredients, thrown together in no particular order. After a quick rummage, you spot the blackroot nestled between the grated dragon's tongue and Drudene oil. You gather up the blackroot, obsidian lance, and ancient bowl, and kick the door of the cupboard closed.
You simple. Perform the ritual. Ingredients in the cupboard, ritual in the book.
Opening the door, you see a select... You explore the room...
Are you simple? Perform the ritual. Ingredients in the cupboard, ritual in the book.
As the smoke swirls about your skull, your vision starts to swim and cloud. There is an intense pounding in your head, and you can feel the world fading. As the world fades away, you lose all sense of being grounded. You reach out, but you could feel yourself falling slowly, sinking into the depths of your own soul.
There's nothing says about the soul, but it looks like the Hall of Echoes.
Bathed in the half-light of this eerie, starless landscape, you spot a figure you could only describe as you. Another you. It looks haggard and weak, its voice merely a feeble echo of your own.
My child, come closer, so that you may see me as I truly am. My child, it is time.
The apparition clasps your face in shaking skeletal hands, and you feel a tingle run through your bones. Everything becomes brighter, sharper. Blacks and whites become glorious bursts of color before fading back to their accustomed spectrum.
Time to open the eyes you lost so long ago. Speak the spell and see. Please, speak the spell.
God is the strange mirror image of yourself. Before you stands the goddess Amadia in all her spectral glory.
You know me now, don't you, child? I saved you when the ship went down. I blessed you, made you powerful. And now I've come to seek some power in return. Your god-woken soul is my last refuge, my last bastion. And now you have brought me a gift.
Amadia stretches out and nourishes herself from the source that abounds in your presence. You feel it deep down inside yourself as it drains away.
Ah, yes. That is better. That is so much better. Truly, dying does not become a god. The void itself is hunting down the gods, leeching us in ways we never thought possible. Droplet by droplet, we are being drained. We are battling for our very survival, and we are losing. Should we truly perish, all will be cast into oblivion. Indeed, there is. To save us both, as a matter of fact. You must realize, dear one, that our fates are now as one, just as our souls are now as one. Together we are a force to be reckoned with. But if we seek to survive the onslaught of the void, we stand no chance unless we become vastly more powerful than we are now. And once you are strong enough, we must travel to the Well of Ascension. There, you will become even more powerful. It is a lake, a pool of pure source, containing half the powers of each of the gods. We gave those powers up freely to create the first divine. To bathe in the lake is to become the divine. That is where the road to divinity leads, and you must be the first to reach it, no matter what the cost. I know, sweet child. Do you think I chose you for that fine bone structure alone? It is important you realize how high the stakes are. The Void has never been this strong. A new divine won't be enough. You need to go to the Well of Ascension, not to bathe in its powers, but to take them. All of them. Only he who claims everything will be everything. The Void's doom, this world's liberator. I hope you understand them to their full extent. The other gods must bow to you or be undone. Of course, the others are saying the same to their mortal God-woken as we speak. But there can be only one. So make no mistake, dear one. The road to divinity may well be paved with dead gods, their blood staining your ivory hands. But do not let that dismay you. You will save all of existence. You will save your kin and your loved ones, and all the rest of the mortal world, and you will become a god. I will lead you to the lake, my child, but not yet. Not until you have become a true master of the Source, until you speak the language of creation itself. Our journey will be fraught with peril. It is a pilgrimage of challenges that will require you to command Source as only a God-woken can, and wield its most powerful spells.
Laughter rolls and echoes into infinity.
You flatter me, dear child, but if all I had to do was give, you would have received long ago. We are I now. The spells you need to know I will teach you when you are ready. But first you must learn to channel the Source in greater volumes. That is why you need to seek masters of the Source. You must make them teach you, so that you may become a master in turn. So return to Rivellon and seek out these sages where they dwell. Convince them to share with you their deep-seated bond with the Source. Once you have, return to me here. Something that will make you understand that for a god, there is precious little difference between the living and the dead. Source is. It is a constant, a subject of neither time nor transience. All of life is Source, and in Source it is. Immortally so. You have the vision of a god now, sight that can see spirits, the souls of the dead made manifest in Source. Speak the spell during your peregrinations and you will see them. Where the dead lie, the dead linger. Alas, I am no longer who I once was, bound to you as I've become. I will teach you what I can, but the links that will expand the bounds of your soul, those are connections I cannot make for you. Good luck, dear child. Make me proud.
The Meister stares intently at you. Her eyes are tired and bruised, but determined.
Still alive? Gods above, there might be something to you after all.
She leans in, her bloody tongue flickering hungrily about your face.
Tell me, what did you see? What you know?
The Meister's eyes flash with fury, but she holds her tongue and steps back.
You are not a pile of ash, so the ritual was a success, albeit partially. You had all the material requirements, so I can only assume your source was lacking. That is unfortunate. I know exactly what must be done. You must find a master of source. And I could have helped you once, but no longer. The purging which the Magisters included as part of their service was quite efficient. They stripped me of my source. Not enough to silence me, but enough that I would not turn their insides to lime. Enough to sever my link to the font from which all source flows, and certainly enough that I cannot train you. So we must seek alternatives. Alas, the only source masters not yet hauled off to Fort Joy or turned into meat puppets are those too dangerous or cunning for the Magisters to contain. Sorcerers that allowed their power to corrupt them. Many are wicked, cruel, vile, and generally not good teacher material, but we may have no others to turn to. Were the circumstances any different, I would indeed agree. However, it is the path we walk, no matter what the cost. No matter what is asked of you.
The Meister doubles over in a violent coughing fit, struggling for breath. After a few moments, she regains her composure, wiping a thin smear of blood from the corner of her mouth.
No matter what is asked of you, you must learn from them. And you do not seem to be paying attention. Sorcerers, evil, controlling your source, saving Rivellon, please. Please tell me at least some of this rings a bell. Your focus, your only focus, must be on finding these masters. On finding the secrets to divinity. Nothing else matters. The Magisters have kept ledgers with all known sorcerers. Especially the powerful ones not yet captured. They would be an invaluable resource. But do be careful not to get caught. I was their guest for a time. And I promise you the gallows was the most comfortable part of the experience. And if their barracks turns out to be as empty as their skulls, just keep your eye sockets peeled. There may still be powerful sorcerers hiding in these lands.
As she speaks, one of her wounds reopens, a dark red stain spreading across her tunic. She hisses in frustration and starts to bind the gash.
I wish there was more I could do, but in this condition, I would be more a hindrance than a boon. Godspeed, and remember, do whatever it takes.
The spirit of an elegant elven woman materializes before you. She seems surprised.
You can see me. A god woken in my presence. You honor me. I am the Meister's apprentice. I study under her, but I do not learn. I hear tales of the ritual, of what lies beyond. Such wonders, such powers. I decide to pursue them myself. Meister tells me it cannot happen, that I am not god woken. But in my heart, I know I'm special. I try. I burn the root. I breathe the smoke and it burns me back. No air fills my lungs, only fire. When the darkness falls, I cannot cry out. I leave my life behind with a shameful whimper.
The spirit looks at you regretfully.
It is hard to hear of such power and not covet it for yourself. I lie to myself and convince myself that I am special. But I am not special. I am dead.
I need those reports, Captain.
Let it be known henceforth to each and every subject here and everywhere that, in the absence of our beloved Alexander, Bishop Divine, slain with malice and injustice by foul sorcerers, as were let fly by the perfidious lizards of the ancient empire, with the aid and abettancy of the treacherous dwarven kingdom, the Divine Order of Lucian is now led by his son's most trusted intimate and advisor, Dallis, Hammer of the Divine, Savior of the Sorcerers, and new Deliverer of the peoples of Rivellon. The Hammer shall take counsel from her most trusted advisors. Hail to the Hammer, 7 times blessed.
Dallis leads the Order. Lucian rolling in his grave.
The dead don't care. It's the living who should be fearful.
My career is at stake.